Ekaite stood by the window of a lavishly furnished living room, staring blankly at the wall outside. A life once marked by trauma and heartbreak had left her a shell of her former self. The years of toxic relationship had hardened her, transforming her into someone she barely recognized, a bitter, hungry woman. But Felix, her husband of 5 years, had seen past her pain and vowed to love her and cherish her. He was determined to heal their wounds despite the stormy battles that raged in their marriage. Felix was a handsome gentleman, a rare gem. He had married Ekaite, hoping his love would soften her. But every day felt like an uphill battle. Ekaite's bitterness consumed their home. She didn't cook, clean, or contribute any meaningful way. When Felix expressed his frustration, her responses were cutting, nagging, shouting, and verbal abuses. That left Felix emotionally drained. Still, he endured, hoping for a change. He didn't just love her, he pitied her, though it chipped away his happiness. After 5 years of struggle, Felix reached his breaking point. He couldn't keep up with the mounting chaos, responsibilities, chores. Reluctantly, he didn't help himself. But one day, he decided to hire a maid from his village named Ikwo. Ikwo was a humble girl, young, quiet, and hardworking. She came from humble beginnings and immediately brought order into the chaotic household. Ikwo would clean, cook, take care of Felix and the bitter wife. The house sparkled under her care. Meals were prepared on time, and Felix finally had some respite from the chaos that had ruled his life. Ekaite, Felix's wife, however, couldn't care less. She saw Ikwo as nothing more than another cog in the machine of her disinterest. But Felix noticed Ikwo. She wasn't just diligent, she was kind and empathetic. She would listen to Felix's frustrations without judgment, offering words of comfort when he needed them most. Slowly, Felix found himself drawn to her, a warmth that he did not feel in years. What began as a stolen glances turned into stolen moments. Night after night, day after day, weeks after weeks. Late at night, after Ekaite had retreated to her room, Felix and Ikwo would find themselves talking in the kitchen, sharing stories about their lives and their plights. One evening, as the rain poured outside, Felix leaned in and kissed her. On leaning in and kissing her smoothly, that sparked the euphoria of their deepest desire and feeling, which they call love. It was a line he never intended to cross, but the loneliness and emotional void he felt, and the resentment from his wife, the bitterness in his home, could only have drawn him closer to the maid Ikwo. Overwhelmed by all the situations, Ikwo, though hesitant, reciprocated. The affair blossomed in the shadows of the house. Ekaite ruled but ignored. Ikwo became more than a maid. She became Felix's solace. his escape, his peace of mind. A few months later, she discovered she was pregnant. Ikwo had gotten pregnant for Felix, Ekaite's husband. Felix was torn between guilt and a strange sense of hope. The child represented something new, a chance at happiness he had long yearned for. When Ekaite discovered the truth, it was as if a dam of suppressed rage burst open. Her bitterness, now mixed with betrayal, hatred, turned her venomous. She confronted Felix in a lift and a fit of rage, hurting, hauling, and pouring insults and accusations. But true target of her wrath was Ikwo, the maid. One evening, Ekaite laced into Ikwo's dinner with poison. By the time Ikwo had realized something was wrong, it was too late. She collapsed. Clutching her stomach, and Felix rushed her to the hospital. There, the doctors managed to save her life, but not the life of our unborn child. Felix was left devastated. He sat beside Ikwo's hospital bed, holding her hand, guilt and sorrow etched on his face. When he returned home, Felix confronted Ekaite. Why would you do such a thing? Why would you try to hurt that innocent girl? She didn't deny what she had done. Instead, Ekaite spat bitter words, accusing him of betrayal and justifying her actions. It was the final straw for Felix. For years, he had endured her toxicity, hoping for change. But this act of cruelty was unforgivable. A new beginning. Felix filed for a divorce. Ekaite attempted to intimidate or guilt trip him into staying with her. All fell on deaf ears. For the first time in years, Felix chose his own happiness. The divorce was swift, and Felix finally free from the shackles of his estranged ex-wife, Ekaite, that had engulfed his life. Months later, after Ikwo had healed both physically, emotionally, mentally, Felix asked her to marry him. She hesitated, fearing judgment and societal pressure and social justice. She was happy at the same time sad. She didn't want to be seen as a maid who took the mistresses home. But Felix assured her that their love wasn't born out of scandal, but out of the connection they had forged in the darkest of times. Their wedding was small and quiet, attended by those who knew the trials that they had endured. Felix's new home, once filled with bitterness and resentment, castrated by ex-wife Ekaite, was now a place of peace, love. Ikwo was a bundle of love. Ikwo no longer a maid, she became Felix's wife. She became the wife that he has always hoped for. As for Ekaite, her bitterness became her only companion. She lived alone, haunted by her past and choices. She self-sabotaged what would have been a beautiful marriage for her. Her bitterness had driven everyone who cared for her away. Felix, however, had finally found happiness he deserved, proving that in every darkest storm, a ray of hope can shine through and always give love a chance. Love does not care who you are and where you come from.